Aloha, I'm Lyla Berg, and we're here at the Battleship Missouri Memorial, ready to converse with the people who inform, inspire, and impact our daily lives. Thank you for joining us on Island Focus.
We're on the main deck, on the bow of the Battleship Missouri. You can see the guns behind us. Those are the most prominent feature of the ship. But Missouri, as you know, was the last battleship ever launched in the world, the last battleship decommissioned in the world. Our mission is to preserve this ship, and you can see a lot of that, in the work that's going on in the superstructure right now. A lot of the work that we're doing to preserve the ship you can't see, because it's under the water over here. The hull integrity, of course, is the main thing for us, and we're concerned about the hull not only rusting from the outside in, but from the inside out. So a lot of the work that we do is unseen to the public, but still very, very important.
It's amazing that this is still afloat.
Well, it's been afloat for almost 75 years. The 75th anniversary of the launching of the ship will actually occur in January of 2019, and we're looking forward to having as many people come out and visit us during that time as possible.
It's amazing,
Each one of those guns is 120 tons and could fire a 2,500-pound round 26 miles. So it could hit my house out in Hawaii Kai from right here.
I'm on the dock of the USS Battleship Missouri with Steve Levins, who is the Director of the Office of Consumer Protection. That is a huge responsibility you have. Thank you for being there.
It is. I feel like I'm blessed. I get to really help and protect the people of Hawaii on a daily basis, and it's something that I've dedicated my whole legal career to.
Protection is a big word.
It is a big word, and unfortunately it's something that we've had to do to protect consumers from unscrupulous business people for a long time.
Can you explain a little bit more what your office does and what we can rely upon?
We take complaints and we act on complaints. We sue businesses that trample on the rights of consumers here in Hawaii, and we enforce all the consumer protection laws.
So you sue businesses on behalf of a citizen?
We sue businesses on behalf of the state, because the state has very robust consumer protection laws, which, and actually Hawaii's got like some of the best consumer protection laws in the whole country. And businesses that run afoul of our laws here risk penalties, substantial penalties of $500 to $10,000 per violation. So it's a very, very important responsibility, and it's a very important office.
In that responsibility, I know there's joy.
There's tremendous amount of joy. I mean, I go to work every day, thank God for what I'm doing, because I have found something that provides me with immense satisfaction in helping people in Hawaii.
Do you find it challenging to have citizens actually contact you, or is it pretty
It is a
open?
challenge, because a lot of times people who have been victimized, particularly people who have been victimized by unscrupulous telemarketers, and lose thousands, some people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars here in Hawaii. There is an element of shame in contacting us and letting us know what has happened and how they've been victimized. A lot of people do contact us, but we really urge everyone who feels they've been wrong to contact our office.
At least to have some information and to get some barometer reading on whether they have a case.
Well, that's true, and at the very least, it will help us warn other people of particular scams.
Oftentimes we hear stories of senior citizens being victimized, but I'm hearing from you that it's every generation.
We know people, lawyers, physicians, PhD candidates, everyone has been victimized. Scammers are very good at what they do. As an adult, when you encounter someone, a lot of times you don't think they're lying to you because you're dealing with someone.
Especially in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
We trust so many people.
you think, well, if someone is telling you something, that they're on the up and up, and unfortunately that's not always true. So there are a lot of people who are scammed by people here in Hawaii, and also people from around the world. I mean, there are telemarketers who will spoof their telephone number, meaning you'll think you're getting this local telephone call, and it may be coming from India, it may be coming from Siberia. It's really a big challenge for us and for consumers in this day and age.
I really appreciate your attitude or your approach, encouraging people not to be embarrassed, because we think we're supposed to be so knowledgeable or adult. But thank you for that.
Anyone could be scammed, and anyone can be a victim. I mean, look what happened just recently with the Equifax, where there are hundreds of thousands of people here in Hawaii and millions across the country who have been victimized because of shoddy business practices, and all of our personal information now is out there, and bad guys may be exploiting that.
Well, I'm grateful that you're one of the good guys and that your staff supports you in all of this. And one final message to our audience, perhaps?
The final message is that if you get a message or for any kind of promotion or something and it seems to be too good to be true, it probably is.
Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
We've been chatting with Steve Levins, who is the Director of the Office of Consumer Protection here in Hawaii. Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and joining me in conversing with Mike Carr, who is the President and CEO of the Battleship Missouri Memorial. Sounds like a wonderful place to work.
Well, it is, and thanks for having Ōlelo here today.
This Battleship Memorial means more than just a memory.
Well, it is, actually. It's many things to many people. Our mission is to preserve the Battleship Missouri and to share her story and place in history. It's simple, easy to remember, but that mission statement encompasses an awful lot. Over 600,000 visitors every year. We've welcomed, since we started keeping records, over 100,000 school children. We have as many as 1,000 military ceremonies every year. The ship is the preferred venue for retirements and change of commands and re-enlistments. You know, it's through our education programs and those ceremonies that we try and be as much of a resource to the local community that we can. But this is really an incredible place with a lot of things happening.
And you've been here for 10 years. That's
I have,
a long time
yes.
to be in one position.
But it doesn't seem like 10 years, actually. The time has gone by very, very quickly. There's just, you know, so much happening and so much that will be happening in the not too distant future for us as an organization.
I know a little bit about your background and how history is very important to you, but working here, it's more than history.
Well, I'm a history nut. If you come to my office, you'll see it lined with history books. But, you know, the greatest joy for me is, you know, all of our staff here who are as dedicated and love this ship just as much as I do, and share that love and their knowledge with all of our visitors. Having my office on the ship gives me the opportunity several times during the day to get out from in front of my computer and come out and walk around and converse with our visitors and talk to our staff and, you know, just look at all the projects that we have going on, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about this afternoon when we walk around.
And the location of the battleship close to the Arizona Memorial is significant.
It's very significant, and on purpose. We're 500 yards away from the Arizona Memorial off my shoulder here, and symbolically, the bow of the ship and the Missouri are watching out over the 1,000 men who are entombed inside the Arizona wreckage. And for visitors that come to the ship, it's an emotional connection with actual, real historic events that affected Hawaii, affected the world. The beginning of the war was right there, where the war ended was right here, and there's very, very few places in this country where you can come and actually get that kind of visceral, emotional connection with history. And most people don't really understand that when they get here, but I hope that by the time they leave, they do understand.
Well, I can truly appreciate when you say you come out from behind your computer and be able to walk on deck and talk with people, because the view from here is beautiful.
Pearl Harbor is a magical place. We get to host many events here during the day and at night, and the venue. I love coming early in the morning, as we were talking earlier, and coming in the morning when the harbor is so peaceful and quiet. It's really a magical, mystical place, and it's one of my joys every day.
One special message that you'd like to have the audience understand about the Missouri?
Missouri is one of the most important historic artifacts in the history of our country. It belongs to all the people of the United States. This, particularly for your audience, this is not just a place for, visitors from off the island to come, or for you to send, auntie and uncles, when they're coming and visiting to get, rid of them for a day. This is a place for all the people of Hawaii to come and enjoy.
Well, we'll look forward to learning a little bit more about the Missouri soon.
I'll look forward to it.
Thanks for joining us. We've been conversing with Mike Carr, President and CEO of the Battleship Missouri Memorial. The pleasure of speaking with Dr. Lynn Babington, who is the new president at Chaminade University. Thank you for being with us. And you as well. How fortunate we are to have a little time with you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a privilege for me to be here at this historic site to talk a little bit about Chaminade and about my great fortune to be appointed as the new president.
Please share us a little bit about your background and why is it exciting for you?
Well, I'm a nurse by background, and I spent a lot of time in the healthcare setting and moved over to academics partway through my career, and there's lots of crossovers between healthcare and higher education. And I moved here from Connecticut. I was at Fairfield University as the provost there, which is the chief academic officer. And I was attracted to Chaminade and to Honolulu because when I came out here, I saw such a commitment from the faculty, staff, to really serve our students here. And Chaminade meets a very unique need here in Honolulu. About 50% of our students are first-generation students. We have a large Native Hawaiian population, and we really provide such a strong liberal arts background with the professional schools to be able to prepare students to be successful in the workplace and to get jobs, and that's an important role that we play. I also recognize that as a small institution, we can be very nimble, and we have the opportunity to contribute to the innovation economy here in Hawaii by being an incubator and trying out new programs. We're in the business of education, and we need to educate all kinds of people, not just the 18 to 22-year-olds, which is a good goal, of course, but in this day and age, with new and changing technologies and businesses, people need to retool. For example, we received a grant from the National Science Foundation to develop data science and big data analytics for people already working here in Hawaii and the whole Pacific region to be able to tool up and have those skills to analyze big data, whether it's in healthcare, in defense, in marketing, in all kinds of areas. And I believe we were awarded the grant because we could develop it very quickly and launch the program and begin right away with certificate programs for adults doing that.
You are evidently personally very agile because one of the things you just mentioned was that in mid-career you moved from nursing to education. How did that happen and why?
I was in the healthcare setting running hospital systems and healthcare systems, but I, along the way, earned a doctoral degree, and so I always affiliated with the university and taught. And at one point in my career in Boston, I had a nonprofit medical management services organization. I was teaching at Northeastern, and I decided to make the switch and try academics. So that's kind of how I got into it, but I always affiliated and taught students throughout my entire career. And it's a natural transition, I think. And being a nurse, you know, one of the skills you learn is to listen, to be present to people, and to really translate complex terms, whether they're healthcare terms or educational missions. And that skill set, it crosses so many boundaries that I feel very fortunate to have that as a background.
And the skill also of being able to respond to what's needed.
Yeah, and that's really important. And I think that as a smaller, more nimble institution, we can do that because the needs of a community change. And the needs now here in Honolulu, we have some distinct needs in the healthcare setting in terms of shortage of primary care practitioners. So we have a very good nursing program working on some of that. We were awarded a Howard Hughes Medical Foundation grant, which is huge. Over only 24 schools, over 500 applied, because we have good outcomes in educating diverse populations to go into the STEM fields. And that's really important for Hawaii and for the whole region, I think. So our ability to work with partners, to learn what they need, early childhood education and the shortage of teachers is another major issue here in Hawaii. And we have a very well-established partnership with DOE, actually here at the USS Missouri and the Aviation Museum, to educate current teachers in how to bring into the classroom information about the history of the military here in Hawaii and our rich history here.
We are very fortunate to have not only your skills, but also your energy and enthusiasm, and we welcome you and look forward to more conversations in the future.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. We've been chatting with Dr. Lynn Babington, who is the new president at Chaminade University. Thank you for being with us.
We're on the surrender deck where World War II ended on September 2nd, 1945. Lyla, I could talk for hours about everything that happened in that 22-minute event because everything was filled with symbolism and meaning. But this is one of the primary reasons why people come and visit the ship. The event that occurred on that day really changed the character of this ship because this ship became from being an instrument of war to a symbol of peace. And that peace symbol is one that has lasted with us forever and one that we carry forever. But so many incredible individuals were involved that day. Of course, everybody knows General MacArthur and Skinny Wainwright and Percival that he gave the first 2 pens to. Number 6 is Bull Halsey, who was the admiral of the fleet. Number 9 was Joe Stilwell, who had dealt with Chiang Kai-shek in China. 16 was Jimmy Doolittle. Number 20 is Shigemitsu, who was the foreign minister of Japan, who represented the government of Japan. And we've established contact with his family, and they've actually given us some of his artifacts that we will be able to display when we have the 75th anniversary of this event in a couple of years.
Amazing.
It is. Well, it holds great symbolism and meaning to the world even today, because from this day forward, Japan and the United States became allies and are today some of the strongest allies that we have.
I'm here with Dr. Raymond Jardine, who is the chairman and CEO of the Native Hawaiian Veterans Organization. Thank you for taking the time for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I guess it's a bit serendipitous that we're in front of the USS Missouri and in Pearl Harbor as a military man.
It's fitting.
Please share us a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, we are basically a for-profit organization doing work primarily in the federal marketplace. We do work in the state, city, county, commercial world as well, but predominantly is the federal marketplace is our biggest area. We're in all 50 states 4 territories. We were in 20 countries. We're currently in 6 countries as well. So we're a global company at this point.
When you say for-profit organization
Yes.
and internationally, what exactly do you do?
We do primarily Homeland Security, emergency management, IT related, staffing, professional staffing. Those are some of our larger areas that we do. We do some other things as well, but those are our core areas.
So using the strengths and the skills that you acquired while being in the military and putting them to civilian use.
Yes, yeah. In fact, majority of our employees are military because a lot of the work is DoD centric, Department of Defense. So I would say a good 60 to 70% of our employees are veterans or disabled veterans.
So where would we find you? Where would we notice that your folks would be working?
Some of it you would not notice where we're working.
Which is a good thing,
because
right?
There's a lot of cleared positions, top secret and secret positions. So there'd be on some installation hitting along the way. But one of our bigger contracts is actually with Department of Homeland Security. We run the National Command Infrastructure Center for the nation. And that's a facility there in Washington, D.C.
So when you left the military, and you were in what branch?
Army.
In the Army. When you left, how did you feel?
Relieved. After 33 years, body was kind of getting beat up a bit there. I'm an 80% disabled veteran. So, it's time to move on, look at some other opportunities in life, or, not totally retire, but find something else to do. I do miss the people. I don't necessarily miss the amount of work that we had to do in the military, particularly as I was starting to retire. The wars overseas started getting more and more, and deployment started getting more and more.
Do you work with younger veterans as well, not just those who are of retirement age?
Yeah, well, we have our own foundation. It's called Ō'ahu Foundation, and we reach out to what we call Gap Kids programs. We reach out to Native Hawaiians and veterans as well, and veterans, disabled veterans. So we have multiple things that we do with our foundation tied in with our company.
And kinaʻole, right?
Kinaʻole.
Doing
Yes,
the
sir.
right thing in the right way at the right time for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Do you bring in the Hawaiian values in working with these groups?
In fact, that's how the company is formed, based on Hawaiian values and value added, not only to our customers, but to how we conduct ourselves and how we do things in general. So I looked at it was never just about making money. It's about making a difference for our community and for our people and for our customers and our clients.
And one quick message maybe for someone who's a veteran that might be listening to this program. What would you say?
Do not sell yourself short. Do not just look at yourself when you retire, particularly that you got to go find a job. In many cases, you have the skills and capabilities of being an entrepreneur, being a business person, and pursue those dreams if that's what you want.
And especially after being in service for so many years to our country and our
you
state.
establish, certain skill sets in leadership, organizational skills, and how to manage things. And sometimes it's okay to be an employee, but sometimes maybe be an employer.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We've been chatting with Dr. Raymond Jardine, who is the chairman and CEO of the Native Hawaiian Veterans Organization. We're here at the Battleship Missouri Memorial, conversing with Brandon Dela Cruz, who is the president of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Filipino Chamber, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii, or as we affectionately call it, the FCCH, has been around since 1954. So we've been around for 63 years, and our mission is to promote Hawaii's business. But with respect to promoting Hawaii's business, we focus on the Filipino community and Filipino businesses and Filipino business professionals.
In Hawaii or internationally, or?
We have a wide reach that expands to the international community as well, but with respect to the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii, we focus on the Filipino businesses here in Hawaii and the Filipino professionals here in Hawaii, and try to see how far that can go. As you may know, my boss Eddie Flores, L&L Hawaiian Barbecue, was one of the persons who was involved in the Filipino Chamber. His business has started from Hawaii and it expanded all throughout the world. And so in that regard, it is also international.
I'm sure it's a very meaningful endeavor because those of us who are part Filipino and maybe didn't grow up that way,
Right.
Also have a lot of different ideas to contribute to business locally.
Yes. You know, what I've discovered, and I've been involved in the Filipino community for probably about 20 years, right out of high school, you know, just getting involved in the different community events and activities. I've seen the diversification of the Filipino community, and I think the Filipino business community can play a big part in shaping that, and it has, and it will continue to.
Yes, and if the organization has been around for so long, I think it's worth recognizing that we've had Filipino businesses for over 50 years.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Filipinos are very, very entrepreneurial minded. You know, one of the things that I'd like to highlight is the fact that the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii helped spearhead the Filipino Community Center. And the Filipino Community Center is the largest Filipino community center outside of the Philippines dedicated to the Filipino community and the perpetuation of Filipino culture.
This is what we call the Philam Center in Waipahu?
Yes, that's correct. The Filipino Community Center in Waipahu. So again, you know, to have all these different ideas that have you know, just started as an idea and come to fruition is really the spirit of entrepreneurialism at work.
Yeah, and community spirit. I know the Chamber is very dedicated to doing community projects as well.
Absolutely. You know, again, the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii has been the voice for Filipino business and many different Filipino issues over the years. I think one of the issues that we've been continually advocating for is for Filipinos to be at the top management levels and executive levels of Hawaii's business. And so that continues to be a mission that we continue to advocate. And I believe that, you know, we have done great things already with the Filipino community. As you know, we have the first Filipino governor out of the entire United States with Benjamin Cayetano. We've had many different success stories such as Lito Alcantara, Eddie Flores, Roland Casamina, who've done very well in the different business fields and have transcended just the Filipino business and have done great things in the Hawaii business community. And so we're continuing to see that, and there's many, many, many Filipino professionals who are continuing to do stuff in healthcare and education, and the list goes
and the
on
arts.
and on. Yeah, the arts.
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, correct. You know,
Jasmine Trias.
Yeah, you know, there's so much talent, and not just from an entertainment standpoint, but from a business standpoint and just government. We have many, many, many leaders in many different forms, and so I think, you know, that will continue to grow over the years, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Well, I appreciate your time and sharing the history also that we Filipinos have a part of Hawaii's history. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've been chatting on Island Focus with Brandon Dela Cruz, President of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate you being with us. Mahalo to the Battleship Missouri Memorial for hosting us today, and for you for tuning in to Island Focus. I'm Lyla Berg. Aloha and malama pono. Take care of each other. See you soon.